Hi, Mob Stars. Welcome back to my channel. This is Sophie B, and this is your weekly market recap for October 13th through the 17th, 2025. In this video, we're going to cover what moved the market this week, what to watch out for next week, and some simple trading setups to keep your eyes on. But disclaimer, before this video is for informational purposes only. So before you place any trades or make any investments, make sure you do your own research first. So this week, the market ended the week higher after a choppy start, and the S&P rose about 1.7%. Some of the things that moved the market this week was the bank earnings. Regional banks were mixed after releasing results, and some ended up stabilizing like later in the week, but that also caused a lot of concerns for the market. And we also had like just new talk about the tariffs and stuff like that. That also caused a lot of volatility this week. And we had some just the reports from the big banks and some tech companies shaped performance throughout the week. So, as far as like sector performance, the technology sector moved the market higher, while the financial sector was mixed and brought the market down some, causing it to be choppy. So, some of our notable movers this week were the regional banks. Fifth Third, Truist, and Huntington, they saw large swings after earnings. And another notable mover was the commodities this week. Gold climbed over 5% this week, although it had a 2% pullback on Friday. So, as far as options, we saw heavy call volume in some of the large tech names, and we saw unusual put volume in gold, hence why gold was down, or GLD, hence why it was down 2% on Friday. Also, this week, the VIX ended up spiking to about 22 earlier in the week, but by Friday, it ended up cooling down and closed around 20. So, some of the trades that worked for us this week were calls on the commodities. We were heavy in the commodities. Like I have my leaps and my long-term contracts, but my weeklies and stuff like that, I have heavily been trading in the commodities gold, silver, and platinum. That's GLD, SLV, and PPLT. So we had calls on these tickers throughout the week. On Friday, the commodities fell quite a bit, and we placed zero day put trades on those. That's what worked for us this week. So give me one moment. I'm gonna share my screen and get some charts pulled up. And this is GLD. As you can see throughout the week, it basically gapped up almost every day, and then it had a major pullback on Friday. So we'll see what happens next week. Then I'm gonna pull up SPY. And some things that we want to look out for next week. The CPI report is supposed to come out on the 24th. That's coming out on the 24th. It was delayed due to the government shutdown. And we also have it's earnings season. So we have quite a bit of earnings this week from names like Netflix, Texas Instruments, Capital One, Lockheed Martin, Tesla, and Intel. Those are just some names that I wanted to mention in case you do want to trade earnings, but be sure just to protect like have good risk management if you do decide to trade any of these names during earnings because volatility will be high. So this was SPY. SPY dropped all the way down to about 653 this week, and it rose up to about 670, which is around the 52-week high. So we want to watch for SPY to make sure it's not going to break below this 653 and to see if it's going to finally rise above this 670. So that's pretty much like the key levels you want to look out for SPY. And again, with gold, like I said, we probably want to look at gold to be sure that it's going to hold that support around 385, I believe. Yeah, so you want to make sure gold holds above this 385, and then we're going to see if it's going to break above this 397. So next week, some potential setups. You want to look out for bullish plays on SPY if it continues to hedge up. You want to look for bullish plays on the commodities if they end up rebounding after that major pullback on Friday. You want to look for bearish setups and cyclical stocks if the tariff talks continue. And we want to do some neutral plays like iron condors on SPY and the Qs, just in case it consolidates prior to the CPI data report coming out on Friday. So my quick tip just for the week is to stay flexible. When volatility spikes, make sure you define your risk. Okay. So you can control your assets, control your losses. You don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. You don't want to have all of, and you don't want to be buying like multiple contracts on a trade that's not running and has momentum, whether that is up or down. So just make sure you define your risk. Also, let me know what setups you are looking at this week, what stocks you're watching, what type of setups you're trying to do. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another weekly update. And if you can also join our Discord. We are live every Monday at 0830 Central Standard Time. We do live trading at the open of the market. And every Tuesday, we meet up for coaching at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this is basically group coaching. And then we have daily market discussions throughout the day, every day. I have for you this week. I will catch you in the next video. Stay focused and trade smart.